what's up everybody? It's Ken with ASM, and of course I'm showing our new flagship synthesizer, the Leviasynth. This is an 8 oscillator algorithmic synthesizer that runs through analog filters. So what that means is we've got 16 voices, 16 analog filters, and we can really allow you to get a beautiful sound with this. Massive dynamic range, beautiful build quality. We built this not just for the synthesizer nerds to dive really deep into, but also for the performer. So we give a solid steel chassis on here that's extremely rugged, quite heavy. So you may need a roadie, but yeah, very solid build quality on these, just like the Hydrasynth. We give you a 4-octave ribbon controller, and we've enhanced our PolyTouch key bed. Now, PolyTouch allows you to do polyphonic aftertouch. So the beautiful thing about that is this is a synthesizer that'll really allow you to get beautiful expression. We've thickened some things up in here and just improved the action of the key bed a little bit, so everything feels a little bit more solid for you. Inside of the synthesizer, we give you a plethora of control. So if we go into the algorithm button here, this is a unique system where we can change our oscillator arrangements, and you have over 140 different algorithms in here. And I mean, I can really just go through all of these, but if you want to custom make your own, you can also do that by going into the custom algorithm mode, and using our touch screen, you can rearrange the oscillator arrangement however you like. What's really beautiful about this is that you can also change parameters of all the oscillators from one screen while you're doing this. So if I'm here, I can be changing oscillator 2's initial level, or I can go here. Let's say I want oscillator 8's envelope level. I can be adjusting it here. Or maybe I want to change the mode of synthesis. And this is where it gets really interesting. Inside of the Leviasynth, we allow you to arrange your oscillators in different combinations, but each oscillator can be a different style of synthesis. So as an example, if I initialize a patch right now, and I have a sine wave, I can say, go to algorithm 2. You'll see a little preview of algorithm 2 here, and I can see it here as well. So oscillator 2 is going into 1, and this will allow me to do traditional FM style phase modulation. I can also do frequency modulation. I can also do pulse width modulation, and our pulse width modulation is quite unique in that you can pulse width modulate in different stages of the oscillator. So if I wanted to drop this down, say an octave, now I'm getting the full pulse width after 2 cycles of the waveform. Or if I want to cut that in half, I could go up an octave. So this is a very, very flexible architecture here. I can also do HTE sync. And again, I can use the pitch of the oscillator, of the modulator, to get very different sounds from this. I also have phase distortion square. And then I have phase distortion solve. Then we have saw pulse. And all of this can be arranged however you like. So you could be modulating your phase distortion from another oscillator that's doing pulse width modulation. And you could do some really interesting things with that. So it can be very complex if you want to, but if you want to keep it very basic and simple, that's really easy too. We give you essentially a voice map here to show you how everything is flowing through the synthesizer. So your oscillators are just going right down the path here. So here, again, all oscillators are coming out in parallel. So I would be doing traditional subtractive synthesis here. If I want, and I say I want a saw wave here, but maybe I want a saw wave on all of these oscillators, All I have to do is hit the oscillator group edit, and I can copy and paste all of these waveforms, and now all of my oscillators are saw waves. If I want to adjust the tuning, I can go into here and like say, drop down an octave. This is oscillator 3. Let's say oscillator 8, I'm going to go up 2 octaves, right? And then maybe over here, I go up a 5th. And then over here, maybe down a 5th, right? And then I can fine adjust as well. So here. So now, all I have to do is adjust my level. Our level screen is really nice. You have 3 different levels in the level screen, and that's indicated by this little gray box. So you can always track what page you're on and see what you're doing. So what I want to do is I can adjust the levels independently, or I can copy paste as I was showing before. And now I'm going to have a much louder sound because I have 8 oscillators all coming out at once. So I'm going to go into my VCA section, and I can see the levels, right? So we're passing through these stages of oscillators into digital filter, into analog filter, into VCA. And that's represented right here on the screen. Oscillators, digital filter, VCA, and then patch level. So my analog filter is burning hot right now, okay? If I want, I could just bring the whole thing down and make it nice and clean. Or if I want to come up, I can come up here. I'm going to drop the VCA here, and I'll get the full tone of the saturating filter without overdriving or clipping or anything like that. So here, I can now adjust the pre-drive. Now the pre-drive lets you go from 1 oscillator sine wave and saturating the analog filter by giving you so much gain to being able to do that with 8 oscillators. So going back to that level screen, if I just mute all those oscillators so that I only have 1, that's just 1 oscillator here, and I go back into this VCA screen, you'll see I'm not clipping and I'm not saturating it all here. I can bring my pre-drive up, and I'm starting to get a nice saturation here. If I want more, I can really drive it. So, how do we use that in practice? Very easily. I'm going to unmute all of these. So now I have that full level here. I'm going to bring this back to 64. Okay. So now we've got a really loud bursting sound. Bring this down a bit and bring our filter down. Now what you'll notice here is that I'm only using 54 on the resonance, okay? That's less than half of my stage, my gain stage for my resonance. When I bring this to 110, it'll start to self-oscillate, and I can go all the way up to 128. Our self-oscillation in this filter is extremely powerful. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop my level back because I'm gonna try not to hurt you, but we're gonna do this. And what's beautiful about how we've done this analog filter is we've paid very close attention to making sure the resolution of control of it is very nice and smooth. Now let's go ahead and make this into a nice presentable sound really quick. I can quickly adjust my envelopes here. And if I want to copy paste an envelope, I can hit save and then touch the envelope of analog filter here. Right? And if I want to paste it anywhere else, I can just touch any one of these flashing buttons. And you'll notice that the oscillators are flashing as well. And that's because we have 13 envelopes inside of here. Each one of these oscillators has its own envelope. And you could see that right here. So if I want to copy that analog filter's envelope into an oscillator, I can touch here. And now you'll see that it's populating inside of here. So when I hit a key, you'll see, and I can adjust these each individually. So now in the levels, let's say I take some of these down and I use the envelope level, it's going to be using those oscillator envelopes now. And we'll add some envelope from here. You also have dedicated routings for your poly aftertouch. So that individual note manipulation from this keypad can be just a knob turn away. Now the engine in this is very high end, so we added a lot of parameters to allow you to get more grit, more analog feel, whatever you want to do. I can bring up the analog feel here. Now, that sound is nice, and you've got 16 voices of it, but maybe you don't need 16 voices, you want 8 voices and you want them stereo. Well, we can do that. Beautiful sound. Let's do some quick examples of how this synthesizer can get a little different. So as you can tell here, we can go from a very analog subtractive synth, beautiful polysynth sound, to something more digital and interesting, but we still have those analog filters, and they allow us to do some beautiful things here. And you'll see here that we're using a custom algorithm, and you can see the map of the algorithm right there. Very easy. We also have a 3-track sequencer on here, so you can do 2 tracks of note data and a track of your macros. So here we are in our sequencer area, and you can see that we have lots of different settings. You can change the modes and the direction that the sequencer is playing. You can have it go random. You can do generative things. A lot of interesting things that you can do with the sequencer, and you can copy paste your sequence into your ARP and then use that as well. Just like the Hydrasynth, we have extremely complicated and wild LFOs, but they're also super easy to use. You can use an LFO as a simple LFO, or if you like, you can turn it into a step sequencer. So you have 5 step sequencers on here as well. It's very complex, but also very intuitive to arrange and manipulate. Using the browse button allows you to search by categories, patch numbers, even by sound designer. There I am right there. You can favorite and build set lists inside of here so that you can quickly go and pull up a sound. We also give you the multi-mode, which is just like on the Hydrasynth Deluxe. It gives you 2 separate engines that you can stack, layer, split. So now, using this, So it allows you to get some really beautiful sounds out of this thing. And we try to strive to allow you to do whatever you want to do in this synthesizer. We've got the digital filters of the Hydrasynth in there. So there's 18 digital filters in addition to the beautiful analog circuit that we have. You can do, if you want to treat it like a modular system, you can detach the envelopes from the key bed and then have them triggered from LFOs and other sources. You can even do a VCA offset. So in this case, if I start bringing this up, and the VCA is just droning away in the background. So that can allow you to do some really interesting stuff, especially if you're into like ambient and soundtrack building and that sort of thing. Excellent for that sort of thing. We also have our pre-effects, our delay, reverb, and post effects. So you have a nice effect suite here on the back end. This just allows you to add some reverb, add some delay, compression, distortion, lo-fi, tremolo, quite a few different effects inside of there as well. So also with the keyboard version of the Leviasynth, we have a desktop version, and the desktop version is beautiful because you can rack mount it or you can VESA mount it and have it floating in your studio. It's the same engine, same analog filters, same digital filters, same oscillators as the keyboard version, but we have moved out the ribbon controller and instead put these pads here, and obviously no key bed. But the pads give you note on velocity, note off velocity, and polyphonic aftertouch. You could also use these just like you could use the ribbon on the Leviasynth to go through steps in your step sequencer. You have the same step sequencer and same arpeggiator all available in here. The only knobs that you're actually missing are these arpeggiator sequencer controls from the keyboard are now, everything is inside of a screen here, so I can just go into here and you could see. And I know that the angle here might be a little rough, but you have all of your sequence and arpeggiating controls can be in a separate screen. And yeah, this is 16 voices, hybrid digital analog Leviasynth.